Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of Real Housewives of New York. This episode was okay. I wouldn't say it was boring, but it was alright. It was better than previous episodes. I don't know. It was better than last week's episode. I'll say that at least. So what happened this episode? What even happened this episode? I mean, Leia, she met with her brother and sister. This is the first time we were introduced to her brother. I think her brother is hot. I like the mustache. I know not everybody likes the, porn star mustache, but it looked good on him. I mean, there's nothing that really went on during that scene. I guess we were just introduced to her brother and that was it. Leia doesn't really have a lot of personal storyline going on with her. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think she's one of those people that is great in a group. She adds more to the cast dynamics, but the problem is I can say the same thing for all the ladies. Nobody has anything really going on in their personal life, so unless they're in a group together, we're not really getting much. And listen, for me, not every moment something needs to be going on. Like, I do enjoy filler. I do enjoy a lighthearted moment, a funny moment, and all that stuff. But if that's the case for every single body, it's like majority of the episode, we're just watching filler, waiting until all the ladies get together. Pretty much. That's what it's feeling like to me. So, like I said before, they need to figure out the cast, because although I do enjoy these ladies on some level, I mean, they just don't have anything going on, if I'm being completely honest. So, what else happened? Okay, Sonia, after her birthday party, she meets up with Luann and Ramona the next day. And she basically says that she slept with Dylan, who was the escort. The male model. Okay, I'm not going to say he's an escort. I'm just saying, I said last week, the attractive men at the party, right, their quote-unquote friends, gave me escorty vibes. That's all I'm saying. Right? So she is saying that she slept with him, which adds more to the escorty vibes, right? And then later on in the episode, the whole thing is, Sonia was exposed, right, by the model Dylan. Basically, he posted a video on his Instagram of his girlfriend and Sonia, right, in his hotel room. And then Ramona reveals to Luann later on in the episode that their friend Hank had to go and pick up Sonia from the male model Dylan's hotel room because she was passed out drunk. So essentially implying that basically they didn't do anything. It's a weird situation. A part of me feels like it's sort of a setup, right? So the ladies have something to talk about. I don't know, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just take everything at face value and pretend it's quote unquote real, but it does sort of feel like a setup to me. But if this is a real scenario, I can imagine, right? Like normal, Sonia has a little too much to drink, right? She's out of it. And she's probably being, very flirty, being a little much. And Dylan doesn't want to kind of just leave her on her own. So he decides to bring her back to his hotel room because he knows his girlfriend is there as well. So nothing is really going to happen, just so she's safe, right? And then when she's in a safe place, he calls her friend Hank. He comes and he picks her up and takes her home. That doesn't even make sense, to be honest, because if you're with someone, right, and they're a little woo-woo-woo, I mean, wouldn't you say, okay, where do you live? Let's take a taxi. I'll drop you home, right? Unless she was so out of it, she couldn't tell him where she lived. But I think if you have Hank's number, right, couldn't you ask him, okay, where does Sonia live? Let me drop her home. I don't know. The whole situation is a little bit weird to me. It's also a little bit weird to me that he would post this video on Instagram. It just doesn't. I know, like, kids today. I'm speaking like I'm so old, but you know, kids today, they like to post everything on social media. So maybe, I don't know, to him it's a normal thing to do. To me, that's a little bit suspect. Especially, you're not with your friends that, you know, are not in the public eye. You're with Sonia Morgan, right? She is a public figure. So I just don't understand. I mean, I do understand why you would post her like that, because you're trying to get some clout as a model, right? I guess you want to say, oh, look who I'm hanging out with, which is very corny to me, right? I mean, thankfully, I didn't watch the original video. All I saw was the clip that they showed on the show. Luckily, she wasn't doing anything too crazy from what I've seen of the clip. She was just sitting on the bed. But even then, you know, I don't know. It just seems like a setup to me. Is it just me? I feel like this is a setup. You know, Sonia Morgan, she's a character. She's dramatic. I feel like she said, okay, film me, and then they're going to put this on the show, and then it's going to be this whole thing of maybe they had a threesome. Maybe she was lying. Who knows? But at the same time, it's not far-fetched to imagine that Sonia got plastered and someone had to go and pick her up, right? That whole scenario is weird to me. And I always felt with Sonia as well, it's really hard to tell what's true and what's not true with her. And I guess because I don't want to judge somebody because I live a boring life, right? I don't want to then have the mindset of, oh, that's not believable. Just because I didn't do something like that doesn't mean that she hasn't done whatever she has done. But I don't know with Sonia. I don't know what's true or what's not true with her. You know, like I said, she is a performer. She likes attention. So she strikes me as the type of person that I don't think she always lies, but I think she fibs a lot. I do. And I think if it sounds interesting to her, if she thinks it's going to get people's attention, she's going to go with it. So I really don't know with Sonia, but to be honest, it's on brand for her. What I will say with Luann and Ramona, they want to talk about Sonia, about how essentially she's a hater, she's jealous, she's this and that. Although that may be true with Sonia, I feel like the same thing can be said with Luann and the same thing can be said with Ramona. I feel like they all compete with each other. And they all go after the same guys. Like, isn't it funny? Like Tom, Harry, the pirate. There's probably more examples that I don't even remember or I don't even know. Even the models / escorts that they brought to the party, it seems like they've all had dealings with these men. So, listen, you know what? If it doesn't bug you, right? Okay, I'm not going to judge. But it seems like it's not like, okay, we're sharing these men, no big deal. They do seem to have an issue with it, right? Particularly Sonia. Sonia doesn't like when the other ladies go after her exes or her friends with benefits, right? So there is tension there. And I just feel like if you're going, I know maybe New York City, Manhattan may be a small place, but I don't know. If you're going after your friends' men, there has to be some sort of competitive energy going on there. I feel like they're all competing with each other. I do. And then particularly the fact that they're on this reality show too, right? I feel like they all want to be that girl, right? They're all competing for that top spot as well. So the relationship is very weird. If someone was your real friend like that, Ramona, you're not gonna embarrass them on national television and be like, oh yeah, she was so drunk she passed out in this guy's bed. Like, that's embarrassing, right? Luckily, Sonia doesn't get embarrassed easily. I think Sonia likes the attention, so I guess fortunately it doesn't affect her as much, but that's not friendship behavior. So the relationship is really, really weird to me. And then, like I said, a part of me feels like it's a setup and they're all kind of in on it. So it's like, no harm done. Whatever. I'm done with that. It was a cute moment, I'm not gonna lie. Without that scene, without that storyline, what would have happened this episode? Absolutely nothing. So if it's contrived, I'll take it. It's actually, if it is contrived, if it's fake, it was actually done pretty well, if I'm to be honest, right? It wasn't super obvious. You know, it was done well. So whatever, I was entertained. Next. Yes, Ebony. Ebony broke up with her boyfriend of 2 months. I'll be honest. Okay, I shouldn't say I don't care. That's kind of rude. But I kind of don't, because we were never even introduced to this guy. At least Garth, we got, one episode of him. But I didn't really care about that either. So, I don't know. I don't know if he was going to be at the Black Shabbat party initially. About him being Jewish and him deciding that he wants to actually be with a Jewish woman. That sucks for Ebony, right? I wish that this guy would have figured that out before. You know, I don't know with men, right? You could say, like Ebony said, that he didn't realize that he wanted a Jewish girl until later on in the relationship. But I don't know. Ebony is 37, right? And I could be wrong. I don't want to assume, but I'm assuming that at the very youngest, right, this guy has to be 30, right? I don't see Ebony dating a 23-year-old, right? Because she wants to get married and all that jazz. I don't see her dating a 23-year-old, right? So at youngest, this guy has to be 30. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm approaching 30. So by that age, do you know everything? No. Do you still have a lot to learn? Of course. But I think by that age, you kind of have figured out whether or not you want to settle down with someone of your own religion or ethnicity. I feel like you've thought about this before. So for you to later on be like, oh, well, I changed my mind. I feel like that's how he felt before. But giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he liked Ebony. Maybe he thought he could make an exception. And then after getting to know her or spend some time with her, he realized, you know what, nah, never mind. Low-key, I feel like, I hate to say he was using her, but I don't know with some guys, to be honest. I think he's like using her. Maybe he was just using her for a good time, someone to hang out with, someone to have as a companion. I can imagine, especially during COVID, it probably was a lot harder to meet people. So if you have someone, you may kind of want someone just there that you can snuggle up with, you know, grab takeout with, just to pass the time, but you weren't really serious about them. That's how I feel with that situation, and I feel bad for Ebony, but hopefully, I don't know. I feel bad for Ebony. That's all I gotta say on that. Ebony also, I feel kind of bad for Ebony, again, because she found out that the person that she suspected to be her father was not her father, or someone that she thought was her sister is not her sister. But I will say about this, the test showed that the lady she thought was her sister is not her sister, but that doesn't necessarily prove that the man she thought was her father is not her father, because who knows, the person that she thought was her sister, maybe that's not her father. I don't know. It's just really confusing. And I just wonder, I don't know if we're gonna get a scene with Ebony's mother. I don't know if I missed the explanation, but what does Ebony's mom has to say about this, right? Like, she must have some idea of who's Ebony's father is, right? I guess she doesn't want to tell her. I don't know, that just seems really cruel, right? I understand that stuff happens, we don't know the story, but at the end of the day, your daughter deserves to know who one half of her is, right? And it's not like your daughter is 12 years old or 10, right? Your daughter is not even in her early 20s. Your daughter is approaching her 40s. She is a grown woman. So anything you have to say, I think she could handle it, right? I think she could deal with it. So it is kind of weird as an audience member, because it's like, why don't you just talk to your mom? What is going on? You know, it would make the situation a lot easier. It's just weird to me that you have to hire a geneticist to do some tests when your mom is alive and you could just talk to your mom. She may not know exactly who it is, but she at least should have some candidates, right? And if your mother is against you finding your father, right? What happens if you do this testing and you do find him? I mean, either way, whatever it is going to come out. So if the mother is holding back, it just makes more sense that she just open up, because guess what? This is going to be played out on national television now. So I don't know. Like, I would just tell my daughter, and then if anything, my daughter can dress up the story in any kind of way. But I guess, I don't know, will we find Ebony's father by the end of the season? I hope so, because I am curious. To be honest, she's the only one that actually has a personal story, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Maybe Sonia has a personal story with her business, and that's it. So you know what? I'm here for it. Speaking of Sonia and her business, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I just feel like if you don't know what's going on, right? If you don't know what the money is looking like in your own business, chances are you're getting screwed over. That's how I feel. Chances are you're getting screwed over. And you don't need Ramona. Why would you? I mean, okay, not to say Ramona isn't qualified, or Ramona isn't smart, or Ramona can't give advice, but I feel like this is one of those situations where you should have a lawyer, right? And I'm not just talking about Ebony. Like, you should have your own personal lawyer present to, like, work out these dealings. I just don't understand how you don't know what's going on, and you're getting zero money from this, and then apparently your clothes were doing very well. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't even understand what her business partner was saying about she has $10,000 of an uncashed check. Like, that just doesn't even make any sense to me personally. And not to say that he's lying or they're screwing her over. I'm not saying that. I don't get it, but at the end of the day, it's not my business. And I don't know, I don't want to be pessimistic, but a lot of people, I don't know, they're into making as much money as possible, and they don't care who they're screwing over. So it's very important for you to stay on top of things, because you can't just assume other people are going to have your back, right? this guy is not even your friend. He's not even your family. And your friend and your family will still screw you over when it comes to money. So, good luck to Sonia. But I feel like if you don't know what's going on, chances are you're getting screwed over. So, what else? Finally, I guess they shoot their music video. Luann shoots the Christmas music video, but then we find out that the music video is not gonna even come out this Christmas. I guess it's gonna come out the following Christmas. Well, this Christmas coming up now in real time. I don't know, when will the end of the season? The end of the season will probably fall. Like, they would probably want to release the music video by the end of the reunion. I feel like that's something they're going to premiere. And then, it's August now, so the end of the season would probably fall, I don't know, like probably mid-September, at end of September. So I guess October is Thanksgiving and all that crap, so... Well, I'm Canadian. I guess if you're American, it's November. So I guess October is a appropriate time to release a Christmas music video. I don't know. I mean, the music video looked okay. I'm curious to see what it looks like. But like I said, I have no interest in hearing a song of 5 women that can't sing. That's just kind of odd to me. But it was an excuse to bring all the ladies together. Ramona, of course, is hilarious, as always. Ramona is good for the show, but I do think it's her time. But I'll be honest, I will miss her on the show. And you can't just take Ramona off and put anybody in. And I really hope the casting directors, they get it right. Because if you take away Ramona and you take away Sonia and you just throw a bunch of Leia and Ebony in there, the franchise sadly may fail. So I hope they can really find people that can, I don't know, because it will be a big gap once those ladies leave. But I do feel like they have to leave, not because they suck or they're horrible or they failed or anything. It's just because I think we've seen their story played out. That's it, right? I can see Ramona and Sonia, like I said, simple lifestyle. Hell, throw in Luann. I can see the 3 of them traveling America, traveling the world, and kind of just getting into silly adventures and doing that. Let them move on to something else. But I feel like maybe it just doesn't work so much on this platform anymore. Yeah, what was I gonna say about Ramona? Oh yes, about her taking her business call when all the ladies are waiting for her. Like, typical Ramona. Typical. So yeah, this episode was okay. It was alright. This season's probably the worst season I've seen of Real Housewives of New York. I'm not gonna lie. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say it's Corona. I mean, to be honest, if Dorinda could get herself together, I would love to see Dorinda back as well. If you're going to keep the old ladies, bring Dorinda back. But Dorinda has to be in a healthy place for that to happen. Because the last season, it was kind of hard to watch. Well, that's everything, guys. See ya.